So yeah, we're gonna just see how well this goes. Yeah, that's it. And this is how it starts. Day 95, and the orange ball of gas that sustained life on this planet. There it is. Laura's husband's life. Wait for Owen to shut up. The sustained life on this planet for billions of years was still burning in the sky, and the scientists were completely wrong, thankfully. Something vibrated on my wrist. Also, it's the Switch, so I do have sounds delayed, so if I react to something a bit later than anything, it's not my fault. Something vibrated on my wrist. I raised my hand and studied the watch-like device. It was an Apple Watch. Oh, maybe not. It was a Moticon, or simply Moti, as I called them. Hello, teacher. Oh, I'm a teacher, am I? Oh. Gonna teach you all some fucking manners. The temperature this afternoon is a crisp 30 degrees Fahrenheit. I do hope you're wearing a warm jacket. Fahrenheit. Fahrenheit. That would be like cold, right? Let me know. I don't know how much sound there actually really is. Let me know if it does need to be turned up or anything. Don't forget that you also need to pick up the travel documents from... Oh, there's a Miss and then Miss Montage. Oh, we got Miss Montage. She's gonna be like Miss Minutes. She's gonna be like Miss Minute. I don't wanna. She's expecting me at her home. Stepping out of the train car, it seems alright sound-wise. Wonderful. I adjusted my coat. Moti was right. Should have worn the one with the wool lining. Too late to worry about that now. Dolores... Yeah, I want to say Montage, but I feel like that's because it's not how you spell Montage, but Montague? Oh, fucking knows. Anyway, Dolores' house wasn't too far away from the train station. As my boots... Okay, I get it. You're vibrating. As my boots crunched through the snow, I felt Moti vibrating on my wrist as ever Moti's cheerful face greeted me. So this is Moti. Ah. You've just received a message from Professor Soul. He is insisting you see his latest breakthrough right away. Oh, shit. Oh, so do we go to... What did Dolores want? Or do we go to see Professor Soul? Well, we're at Dolores' house. I'm gonna go with Dolores. We're there. Perhaps I have to wait until later Moti. We gotta get these tickets. Yeah, we're going, yeah. Well, yeah, yes. No, okay. No problem, teacher, you know where I am. Alright. I remembered her address, 1204 South Street. Nice. Not too far away. Before I knew it, I was knocking on the front door. See, easy peasy. It's about... Oh, fuck you. It's about time you turned up. Alright, fuck you. The door was opened by Dolores, a tall woman with olive skin and shoulder-length dark hair. The dim light made her features difficult to make out, and her body language suggested she was a little tired. Maybe it was that it's about time you turned up. Came as soon as I could. I'm putting the acting degree to use. Anything wrong? That's nothing. Thanks for your concern, though. You don't need to worry about me. Oh, you're welcome, love. Known Dolores long enough to realise that she wouldn't let you know how she was feeling, even if there was an issue, like knives sticking out. Nah, I'm fine. It's all good. Everything went off without a hitch. Dolores was holding a folder in her hand, presumably the one I was here for. Ooh, did anyone see you? Was there any trouble? Was there any trouble? There never is. We're professionals. Ooh, what am I stealing? Am I stealing something? Where am I going? For the travel documents. Dolores handed me the folder. I looked inside and saw the usual stuff. A passport, plane tickets, credit card, and itinerary. Itinerary scanned and stored. Travel Oh, I'm going to Peru! The only holiday I'm fucking getting. Anytime soon. Hi, Matt! How you doing? While I couldn't see Dolores' expression in that light, I could tell she wasn't impressed with the situation. Why the fuck am I going to Peru? Looks like it. Rest up, it'll be a long flight. Why am I going to Peru? We said our goodbyes quickly, and I sensed that Dolores was still angry at my decision. I didn't make a decision. Fixing PCs. Oh, is it like your PC or another PC? And I am good. Playing choices, and I'm probably gonna... I don't even know if I can die, or if I can kill someone. But we're gonna see what happens with this game. Will we be heading to Peru right away? No, I want to go see that other dude. Yeah, there, haha. Remembering Soul's message, I sighed. Not yet, Moti. We still have to find out what the professor has to tell me. Sometimes I wish I hadn't hired Soul. His paranoia could be stifling. But I did hire him. Started making my way towards the professor's house. No, Oriana's. This is not yours for once. You sound upset. I didn't say shit. Fuck you. Has there also been a disagreement? What do you mean also? Does he have the same concerns? What? Shut up. Be quiet. Shut up. I need to prepare myself for this visit. Sorry, teacher. Oh, I didn't mean to make you sad. I just wanted to tell you to shut up. Oh no, he's sad at me. I didn't expect the sad face to be staring me in the eyes. Scammed. As reliable as ever. Moti obeyed my instruction. I honestly couldn't imagine my life before Moti. True, they sometimes ask for far too many questions about the most insane topics, but I was glad to put up with them. While we were going through the city, my thoughts were interrupted by an elderly man standing in the middle of a plaza, sandwiched by large cardboard signs. Frozen hell is coming for everyone. Nice. I should be used to those by now. This doomsday sign started 3 months ago after the temporary sun outage incident. How do you get a temporary sun outage? It's the sun! Is frozen hell coming for me too? No! You're too precious. Only humans go to hell. No, hell isn't real. You're fine. You're great. You're smiling again. Oh, look at that little face. Now that I was thinking about it, I wondered if that was strictly true, considering how freezing cold it was this winter. It was a good thing Moti couldn't feel the chill. After about 20 minutes, I finally arrived. I wrapped my arms around myself and shivered a little. It was snowing throughout the entire journey. I crossed the lawn and pushed the buzzer on the front door. No response. I tried again. Still nothing. The door was locked, obviously. Maybe he had gone out? We'll look for another way in. I don't trust my skills. Why am I going in? If he's not out, wait, then he wanted to see me. They did. That's what I'm thinking. I'm not thinking they did. Perhaps there was an open window or something. It suddenly occurred to me that I'd never seen much of the professor's home. I walked around the property studying every possible entrance. The windows were either too high or bolted shut. Why are the windows bolted, teacher? Why do you keep calling me teacher? Why are you looking side by side? The professor suffers from a rather severe case of paranoia, Moti. Like most scientists after the incident. Why is he suffering from paranoia? Can it be fixed? I chuckled. Don't I wish, Moti? Don't I wish? Don't I fucking wish? Walking around the house, I found myself in the backyard, looking at the professor's back door. I tried it, and to my surprise, it swung open with ease. Why wasn't it locked? Upon further examination, I realised the locks were broken. Please be careful, teacher. I'm gonna be. I cautiously stepped inside the professor's home. Do I have a Glock? Do I have something? No? A baseball bat. A twig. Anything. There was a large suitcase sitting by the front door. From its bulging sides, I had the impression that it was overpacked. Was Soul going somewhere? He hadn't said anything about a trip. Suddenly my phone rang, surprising me. My phone sounds a lot like my watch. It's Dolores. Would you like to answer it? Yeah. Can you ask her what the fuck's going on? Dolores, what's up? You might want to turn on the TV. I'm not home right now. Hang on. I think there's a TV upstairs. I gripped the railing and headed up to the stairs, each window creaking and groaning as I went. Climbing into the attic, most of it was covered in a thick layer of dust and cobwebs. Disused boxes, papers, books, and that word that I ain't even gonna bother to try crowded most of the tiny space. Hurry up, she urged. Patience, Dolores. One area, however, had seen frequent use. A crude desk made from excess boxes and planks. Sitting atop was an exquisite clockwork model of the solar system. There was, however, no television. He must have sold it since I was last up there. No TV up here either, Dolores. You'll have to just tell me what's on it. The sound of a sigh came through the phone. Oh, fuck off. I could practically see her frowning in annoyance. Very well. Do you remember Philip Argyle? No. This bitch. The arrogant one. Yes, him. Listen to this. I could hear the television in the background getting louder. Flare Energy stock prices plummeted to an all-time low. The CEO, Philip Argyle, is reassuring investors that it is merely a temporary setback. I whistled. Sounds like he's in trouble. So, the fuck is this? This is called, Choices That Matter, and the sun went out. There is 3 games in this series. Very simple, very chill, from what I know. And it's just a choice game. So, I thought, considering I didn't know what to play today, try this. I've had them for like 4 months and never touched them. And, yeah, I'm assuming someone's gonna die, or the sun's gonna go out, and people are gonna trouble's gonna happen. Don't really know. There's literally not gonna be much. It's a lot of the stream today is more of a chill type of stream, because I feel like tomorrow's gonna be crazy if the chat does happen. Thursday, and then I've got Saturday and Sunday as well, so playing it very chill. Hopefully. He won't last the night. Oh, he's dead. He's gonna die. Nice. You think so? Yes, luckily he's already settled his account. Are we responsible? Ooh! Are we responsible for this? What did we do? No, and neither are any of our connections. Good to hear. I want to know what we did. With nothing else of interest in the attic, I decided to explore elsewhere. I passed by the Bulbage luggage as the front door as I climbed down to the second flight of stairs, headed for the basement. Ah yes, there's something else I forgot to tell you earlier. It's quite important. Hang on, it's a little dark down here. I said as I felt along the basement wall. The entire room was pitch black. You see... Oh, someone's at the door. Won't be a moment. Could hear footsteps fade as she walked to the front door. Continue feeling along the wall for a light switch. Try for the gas lamp in the middle of the room. Well, if there's a gas lamp in the middle of the room, I'm going to aim for it. Confident as I was with the basement layout, I abandoned the wall and walked towards the middle of the room with my hands outstretched. Suddenly I tripped over something heavy and fell on my elbows. It had felt like a body. Having a bad feeling, I pulled out my cell phone and dimly illuminated the heavy object. I swallowed. There he is! Professor Soul was dead. Well, I like this already. There's murder. Lying on his front, the professor's back exposed with a large bullet wound. His white lab coat splattered with blood. Bill rose in my throat and I gagged, covering my mouth with my hand. My work had always been dangerous, but I'd never been confronted with the body of a friend before. My heart pounded, making me dizzy. Hi, Libby! 100 thoughts and emotions raced through my mind all at once. What did this mean? Why would someone kill him? Did it have anything to do with what we were doing? I don't know. Could you tell me what we're doing? Wait. Was that someone at Dolores' door? Oh, she died. Oh, she died. Dolores, don't answer. Don't know. She died.
Wow. 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 Wow.
Because my game's delayed on sound, I got the bang, and then immediately as the bang in my ear stopped, fucking wow started. Bang. Wow. 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 Oh, beautiful. Absolutely stunning.
They ask you how you are, you just have to say that you're fine, and you're not really fine, but you just can't get into it because they would never understand.
Oh, this woman's dead, guy. This woman's dead. Oh, Jesus Christ. An ear-splitting gunshots sound rang through the receiver. No, actually, I had Katy Perry and Owen Wilson. The line went silent. Because there isn't time to call for help. Stay on the line and try to listen. I'm gonna try and listen. I tripped when I left the shower. Jesus Christ. How? You're dead next. Silence. I had to reach Dolores. I scrambled to my feet and bounded up the stairs, keeping the phone glued to my ear, hoping that Dolores would speak again. Teacher, this is most alarming. I'm concerned for Dolores' future. Yeah, me too, bitch. She's dead. My toes were not high enough up. Oh, do you have the ones like the bathtub showers? But that would make sense. Pulled open the front door and felt a cold blast of air hit my face. It began to snow again. I have calculated that it would take you between 25 and 30 minutes to reach Dolores' residence. Thanks. You're very optimistic. I knew that I could probably get there half the time if I called a taxi. That would mean cutting off my connection. No, I just had a little barrier like normal in a standalone. Ah. Oh, Jesus Christ. You don't have to get your leg up that high, Libby. You're gonna die. Me hurt the big toe. I'm not having all of you fucking with broken toes. Fuck right off. Taxi, I'll get there quicker and save her life. But whoever shot her could still be around. Oh. Oh. Ah, but... What if the taxi doesn't turn up? The taxi's going to take ages to get there, though. It's a taxi. I'm going to go by foot. We're going to go by foot. I say foot. Okay. Laura's on my side. Dolores. I tried again, hoping she'd answer this time. The unforgiving snow was making it difficult for me to sprint. Couldn't hear much through the phone, only some shuffling and scuffling. Once I thought I heard the sound of glass shattering. Teacher, at this rate it will take 45 minutes to... Oh, would you know what? Fuck you. In other words, I'd be too late. Trying not to think about that, I continued listening while I ran. Then... a click. Felt a chill down my spine. Someone had disconnected the door. Oh, what a bitch. I could have called a taxi. I have checked meteorological databases, and this weather system should be passing very soon. Thank you. Almost on cue, the snow began to thin out. It took around 35 minutes to make my way across town. As I arrived at South Street, I made a left past the diner, favourite meeting spot for Dolores and myself. In the distance, I could see red and light. Oh, red and blue flashing lights. Police cars parked up ahead. I quickened my pace. Was she even still alive? Teacher, due to recent events, I would advise against telling the police who you are. Why are you being so sus? Like, I just hit under the toe. Jeez. There is a very high probability, though, we think that you have been involved with whatever event has taken place at the residence. How do I describe it? Gone like... How do I describe it? Like numb? Numb? Moti was right. Now was not the time to reveal the identity. Especially after Sol's murder. Something was afoot. And it was too much of a coincidence to have both events happen in the same afternoon. I needed to find out more before revealing my hand. Still, speaking to an officer was the best way to find out what happened to Dolores. Was it worth the risk, or was there something else I could do? There's a mark, but like, internal bleeding mark. Nothing serious, I don't think. I ain't going anywhere. Someone else can take you to A&E. I've had enough of A&E trips. Arson, I want to know what happened. No, I'm gonna ask. I know it's gonna probably get me murdered. Alright, that one, I'm not shocked. I'm sorry, we don't want to disclose any more information at the moment. That seems normal. The male officer who was leaning against one of the cars drinking hot coffee from a paper cup seemed disinterested with the whole event taking place. So, like, Dolores hot on. I think Dolores is I feel like she's got more of a older lady type. She sort of didn't want to answer the door, didn't give a shit. So, but maybe she could be. Maybe she's a MILF. We'll never know. You're never going to see pictures. You're never going to find out. I pushed him for a little bit more information and asked if anyone had been hurt. He turned and viewed me with suspicion. No, just a break and enter, it seems. Female officer strode out of the Dolores front door, speaking on the phone. She lowered it and covered the mouthpiece as she shouted across to the coffee-drinking policeman. Gilf. Twins. Twins? Twins. I need to beat that. Sorry, kid. Twins. Twins! She lowered it and covered the mappy, blah blah blah. You better drink up, Patterson. We have a body on the other side of town. A professor of something or other. I would strongly suggest not asking any more questions. At least Dolores is still alive. You don't need to worry any further. As the officer took another sip from his coffee, I backed away into the crowd that was slowly gathering to see what all the fuss was about. I quickly turned and headed down a nearby road. It ran perpendicular to South Street. I needed to get back home and prepare for my trip. Like, I'm still gonna go. Today wasn't turning out how quite I imagined it would. Screech! A large black sedan stopped abruptly in front of me. That's how I die. In the next few moments, everything happened so quickly. I turned and began to run and was slipping on the icy sidewalk. Fa-doomf. I heard the sound of a silencer and immediately felt an explosion of pain between my shoulder blades. Skirt! I fell. Oh, I've been shot. Down, down, down into darkness. Been shot, lads. Arc 1 complete. Okay, I like this. I like this. Putting my acting degree to use. You and 33% of players have been pushed into a car and knocked out.
Wow. 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 Wow.
You and 33% of players have been pushed into a car and knocked out. I think I got shot, mate. I didn't get knocked out. I got shot. I woke to a pounding in my head and an inability to move my limbs. I did get shot. Scratchy surface pressed against my face and I twisted, spitting fluff from my dry mouth. I moaned, trying to remember what happened for me to end up here. Our friend's awake. Should I stick in another dose? A male voice sounded from somewhere in front of me. I flipped onto my back and saw a blurred face staring down at me from the front seat. The sedan. Sound of the silencer. The pain! It's, bold. Between my shoulder blades, overtaken now by the pain in my head. A mood. I had been kidnapped. Plain and simple, I'm gonna die. I opened my mouth to demand an explanation, and the same blurred face shoved a gag between my teeth, leaning closer to tie it behind. Laura, you're not allowed in here anymore. It's too kinky. Get out. You're not allowed. Gotta go. Bye. Pen fell from his pocket onto the floor of the car. Nope. Leave it. Let's not kill more brain cells than we need to. Besides, it's not like we'd be recognised. We're near there anyway. The second voice was female and stern. The man returned to the front seat on her word. Mum says I can't stay here. Mum says I'm not allowed to keep watching. It's too much. It's too dirty. I didn't mean to look up the porn. What do you mean I wasn't supposed to search Step Bro on the internet? Jeez. Frantically I looked around, trying to blink my vision clear. There was nothing in the back seat that could help me, and the windows were tinted, so even if I could sit up, no one would see me calling for help. Moti was sitting silently on the center console between the two kidnappers, out of my reach. This must be an older model car, or at least an inexpensive one. The windows weren't electric, but it said had a crank on the door. Oh, we're old. I could get to it. Maybe I could signal for help. There was the pen on the floor too. If I could reach it, it might tell me something about my kidnappers. I could catch a glimpse of a logo on the down-facing side. I feel like if I try for the window, I'm just gonna get knocked out. But what if I go for the pen? And there's nothing. Pen. Laura says pen. I think if I go for the window, I'm gonna get knocked out, so I feel like the pen's the better option. Right? Because then at least... but then again, they always use logos. Everyone's like, oh, pen and logo from the window. Oh, see, to the wall. Well, I mean, I'm in a car, so it'll probably be to the window to the door. I'm thinking pen. Because I do feel like either they'll shoot me again. I'm gonna take the risk with the pen. I'm gonna take that risk. Rolling and twisting, I aim for the gap between the back seats and the front. I fell haphazardly and pinned my arm. Oh, great. Laura, I blame you. The beefcake in the beefcake. Ooh. The beefcake in the passenger seat glanced at me. I could now see that he had a scar on his left cheek. What exactly are you trying, friend? Don't think you're gonna run away? He smirked before turning back to the road. I'm not trying to run away. I'm trying to steal a pen. My stomach twisted with dread, but I kept working, sweat beading on my forehead. I kicked out with my legs to try and adjust myself. My fingers touched the smooth plastic of the pen, the juxtaposition to the harsh ties cutting into my skin. I gripped it and tucked it into the waistband of my jeans. I didn't even get to look at it. Beefcake turned and grabbed my belt, heaving me back onto the bench seat and causing my head to thump against the seat. Blight is kicking my damn seat. He grunted angrily to the woman, and she sighed. My mind raced as I tried to think of a new plan. Revise the old plan or simply come to grips with the situation. On the console in front of me, Moti powered on. Beefcake looked down in shock. What the? Good evening, teacher. How can I assist you today? I feel like the police ain't gonna do shit. They've got this little secret freaking organisation. And I feel like telling this secret organisation would be better than the police, because the police seem like shit. The dude was drinking coffee and someone could have been shot, and he was like, do you know what, it's not a big deal. I think I'm gonna go for the company. I ground my teeth against the fabric in my mouth, trying to break it and get my message to Moti. Is hoping. The woman in the driver's seat. I also think she's just gonna turn it off. The woman in the driver's seat calmly picked up Moti and switched it off again.
Wow.
He's so kind as to give our friend another shot. She sighed, annoyed. Wow. Gladly, he responded, pulling out a needle and moving towards me. So either way, I'm fucked. With nowhere to go, I was helpless as he stabbed the needle into my neck and punched in the plunger. Unconsciousness takes me again, but in italics. Waking felt like being struck by lightning. I cradled my aching head, destroying brain cells indeed. I squeezed my eyes shut, too aware of each movement that made pain ricochet around my skull. I was sitting up now, and I noticed the feel of the car was different. Smoother, yet louder somehow. Finally opened my eyes and stared in shock out the tiny window next to me. There was nothing on the outside but clouds and blue sky. I was on a plane! Ah, that makes sense. Going to Peru. The man sitting in the seat next to me snorted, turning a page in his book. I didn't think he'd ever wake up. If you weren't snoring, I would have thought you were dead. You were fast asleep when I boarded the plane. How the fuck did you get someone on a plane? Still, there are better ways to waste the hours before we land in Peru. Oh, we are going to Peru. We're all going to fucking Peru. Peru. I was flying to Peru. Clearing my throat, I sat up, glancing around to see if my two kidnappers were in the seats around me. Or maybe this man was my new caretaker. As casually as I could, I leaned forward and examined the contents of my rucksack at my feet. The rucksack was mine, but I didn't remember taking it from my apartment. Moti was back on my wrist. Plugged in my headphones and powered Moti on as I extracted a set of travel documents from another section of the bag. The tickets were clear with my name and all my details in the correct place. I was en route to Cusco, Peru, with a connecting flight from Lima. Good morning, teacher. How can I assist you today? I gave the man next to me a shifty look, unsure if I could trust anyone in this situation. However, he was older by decades. Fucking decades! compared to the two that had kidnapped me. He was also in casual clothes and had a travo pillow around his neck. Were you able to alert the police of my kidnapping? Well, I didn't ask the police, so... How long until the flight lands? Due to being switched off? I do not know, teacher. What fucking use are you? I could disable airplane mode and find our current location if you like. Yeah, sure. Better not. We'll deal with it later. Alright, fuck that then. I looked around again for the kidnapper with the scar on his cheek, or the one who had driven the car. Neither of them seemed to be anywhere near me on the plane. The older gentleman looked at me with annoyance as I twisted in my seat. You best make yourself comfortable. We've got several hours left of our flight. Not to mention the connection to Cusco. I assume you're heading to the Inti Rami festival as well? Most of us are. But the pack in what? He indicated the two women across the aisle. One, obviously a tourist, wearing a poncho with a sun motif on it. Curiosity stirred in the back of my mind. This has had something to do with my work involving the incident. I smiled at the gentleman and sat back in my seat. My aching head tried, it says tried, I could read, to the process of recent events. The police hadn't said that anyone had been injured at Dolores' house. Maybe she had been kidnapped as well. One thing was for sure. The only way to get to the bottom of this was to go to Cusco, taking that connection flight. Someone wanted me in Peru. I needed to find out why. 3 hours later, we landed in Lima and I rushed to get off the plane. Just because I had decided to go along with my kidnapper's agenda didn't mean I wanted to continue the joyride of tranquilizers. Moti, access the news feeds and see if there's any update on the events back home. Of course, teacher. One moment, please. Because it took so quick. I have found recent articles on Dolores' breaking and the Professor's murder. Would you like me to summarize them? Yeah. I think. Yes, teacher. Why are you sad? I'm asking you to do your damn job. The police have released Professor Sol's name to the public and have confirmed that it was a homicide. Dolores' case has been labelled as domestic disturbance and her whereabouts are still unknown. They have not, as of yet, connected the two cases, teacher. An announcement was made that the next flight was ready for boarding. I made my way to the gate. The 3 elderly passengers from the previous flight were already there, as well as many of the faces I had seen on the plane. This Inti Rami festival seemed quite popular, though. I wondered if the motive of the sun was to blame, considering the incident. I boarded with everyone else and settled into my seat, cautious, but beginning to relax. The 50-minute flight from Lima to Cusco, I'm going to read it as Cusco, was uneventful, thankfully. I made my way up the concourse and through the throng of passengers waiting by the luggage carousel. Quick stamp on my passport and no questions asked was a perfect way to start the extremely impromptu visit to South America. I hadn't seen either of the kidnappers from the sedan, and it appeared no one was following me. I breathed a sigh of relief, hoping that the goal was to get me here and let my curiosity do the rest. She is playing Sims. All she does is play Sims. She has a problem. It's an addiction. She got the new cottage pack. She's addicted. I breathed a sigh of relief, hoping that the goal was to get me here and let my curiosity do the rest, which I had to admit it would. Now I needed to work out how to reach the centre of the supposedly beautiful city. I needed to get to the hotel to help me figure out why I was brought here in the first place. Attempt to hire a car, head towards a waiting taxi. Exposed, how you know? Tells you on Discord, Laura. I mean, that's how I always know when you're playing. Tells you on Discord. That's how I always know what, Damn it. What were you going to say, like you were watching her? Wouldn't you like to know? I'll say, that's how I always know you're on. Don't need to listen to it down the hallway. I just see it. Goddamn. 24/7. Darling, you're always on it. No hope. Attempt to hire. I'm gonna just go for a taxi. I turned to the back of the nearest taxi and stared at the driver stupidly when she asked where I wanted to go. I had no idea since I said, oh great, fuck, I shouldn't have gone in a taxi. It would be unwise to head to the booked hotel in your itinerary, teacher. We know that information is compromised. You got one of those gadgets, huh? Said the taxi driver. My daughter wants one of them, but they're hard to come by here. She was twisted around in the front seat, looking at me with a warm smile. Her accent pronounced her to be as foreign to this country as I was, but she seemed at ease with her surroundings. I gave her a tight smile and nodded, grateful that she knew English. My company paid for mine. I told her. Moti's useful for making sure I don't miss my meetings. She laughed and nodded. What brings you to the city of the sun, mate? She asked, relaxed. I feel like I'm talking to Matt. Mate's been thing. My company sent me here to try and figure out why the sun... I think I'm just gonna lie. Just decided I need a holiday. Seems like a lot of people had the same idea. She nodded as if this was a common tale these days. I rubbed my neck, dreaming of a bed and proper rest. The last couple of days, I've picked up lots of travellers that came here to see the Inti Raymi festival. The hotels are filled to the brim because of it. If you haven't booked anything, I'm sorry to say that you're out of luck, mate. The news shouldn't have surprised me considering the volume of passengers at the airport, but after a long day I had, it did. I leaned back in my seat, trying to think of an alternative. The driver chewed her lip, seeming to battle with the own idea in her head. Finally, she nodded and put the car into park, turning again to look me in the eyes. We spoke. Look, I've got a spare bedroom. You're welcome to use it for a small boarding fee until the festival is past. What were you going to pay at a hotel? I'll match it. Seemed a little strange, staying at a stranger's house, but given the situation, I had little choice. I agreed. I'm just going to go stay in... Hold on. My friend's been shot. The other friend's been burgled. And I'm going to go stay in some stranger's house. Alright, Sharon. My name's Sharon. Welcome to Brook. Me and Sharon, is this... No, it's not. We know nothing. We're going to die. We'll keep our wits and be careful. We sometimes have to trust... No, we're going to keep our wits about us. I don't trust Sharon. Sharon's house wasn't too far away, but the long hours of stress were catching up to me. My eyelids were too heavy to take in much of the city during the ride. Once we arrived, she showed me to a spare room and a simple, clean bathroom before leaving me to my own devices. I sorely wanted a shower, but I set off washing my face before falling onto the single bed and dreaming dark dreams. The sun was still high when I woke up. I took the much-needed shower and wandered into the kitchen, where Sharon was sitting, chewing some leaves from a bag. The nice thing about having a southern border is I don't have to be in that bloody hot taxi all day, she told me, grinning. Smiling back at her, I sank into the seat at the table, feeling lightheaded. Are you okay, teacher? Fucking no, mate. I got drugged like 4 times. Sharon gave me a knowing look. You look like a tourist. Here, chew this. It's coca leaves. Illegal where I come from, but it'll give you the right kind of sea legs for this altitude. I took some of the leaves and studied them, curious before popping them into my mouth. What are these leaves? Illegal? Yeah, I don't know why they're illegal. Why the fuck are they illegal? They're just something to take the edge off harmless. Most travel blogs actually recommend eating them. What was it I once read? Chew it like the Incas? Incas? The taste was bitter, but she was right. I was already feeling a little less lightheaded. I made a mental note to buy my own bag at the soonest convenience. Most places will sell the tea too, she told me, indicating the tea caddy sitting on her bench. If you're interested in Inti Raymi, there'll be plenty of places you'll find that can help you out. I don't even know what the fuck it is. Oh, he's buzzing again. It seems that she is correct about coca leaves, teacher. Just be sure not to take them back with you. The tea is legal, however. Yeah, what is this Inti Rami shit? Sharon stood and walked over to a tiny... Thought that was my phone, god damn it. Got ya. Psych. Get fucked. Get pranked. Oh, can you... honestly, I hear it and my phone doesn't even vibrate. My phone's on fucking Do Not Disturb and I still check it every so often. Got him! Honestly. Sharon stood and walked over to a tiny bookshelf in the corner of the kitchen, grabbing what looked like a children's book and bringing it back. How many times can we get you to look at your phone? Buzz this many times, you're like, fuck. Inti Rami was apparently the biggest festival in the Incan calendar. Something about the rules being related to the sun gods, or that kind of thing. There's a moving. I flipped through the pages as what was indeed a children's picture book. It was in Spanish, so I couldn't read it. But, as with most kids' books, the pictures told most of the story. Somehow it lasted many hundreds of years, she continued, even after the Incans were no more. I stopped at a particular page, depicting the Incan ruler trying to convince the sun to return to them. This would have taken place during the winter solstice, when the sun would seem more distant in the sky. If this is what they did when they thought the sun was wandering away, what did they do when there was an eclipse? I asked Sharon, looking up to her. Totally keeping my window open and lights on for Batman. I want to see Batman again. We've just had Michelle lying about a giant spider instead that's got me on edge 24/7, and I've even blocked off my door because I don't care if it's not actually in this house and disappeared and possibly left, because no, I'm not dealing with it. Not dealing with it at all. I'll take Batman, thanks. She shrugged. I'm the wrong person to ask. I just know the modern story. There's an old historian across the way who knows more about these things, but talking to him is a bit hard. He only knows the native language and rough Spanish. Great. I flipped through a few more pages before settling once again on the same page that had caught my eye earlier. It was an impossible coincidence that I was here just before the Incan Festival of the Sun. That had to be why I was sent here. But for what purpose? Surely it was all superstitions and myths. Sharon sat across from me, smiling pleasantly. My flight or fight instinct was still in effect, and I was cautious about letting her know too much. On the other hand, I did need some kind of translator to meet this historian. She was obviously comfortable with the culture in the area. I'd like to meet this historian. And... would you care? Yeah, I want a translator. Come translate. She rubbed her hands together, collecting her bag of coca leaves and standing. Alright. Grab what you need. I'll be out front warming up the car. She's a bit old these days. And with that, she left the room. Do you think he'd... Why can I see that? You think he told his friends about us? He didn't even let us in, mate. He didn't let us see him on camera. He only knows the stories. He only knows the beginning of, excuse me guys, gotta go grab a bat. Or Batman. Batman. No, 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 Batman. I rubbed my eyes. While the coca leaves helped with the altitude sickness and the sleep restored my batteries, I still feel like I was a step behind and $1 short. It only took a moment to grab my bag from the spare bedroom and meet Sharon in the car. New merch, please. I will buy a bat. I will buy a bat. I still have the 2 tops, so 1 somewhere. I will buy a bat though. She gave me a tooth-filled grin when I jumped into the passenger side and we peeled off into the streets of Cusco. All around us, the city was getting ready for the festival. Lights were being hung in the main streets, people in traditional dress were swarming amongst the tourists, trying to earn their Peruvian sol, the local currency. Dotted amongst everything else were these depictions of sun gods, the Incan royal family, and strangely, llamas. Ah yes, the gods. The royals. The llamas. Fucking llamas. I tapped on Moti's face. Ding ding, motherfucker. What's the llama's place within the Festival of Inti Rami? Before Moti could reply, Sharon piped up from beside me. Oh, they used to sacrifice... Rip to the llamas. They used to sacrifice them back in the day. Whole packs of them selected from their brown colouring. So they sacrificed only the brown llamas? Ooh. She smiled pleasantry as we wound through the streets with ease. Why are you pissed? I smiled at Moti's petulance. The programmers did a good job of recreating human emotion. I assume they don't do this anymore. Sharon nodded. They still make a show of it, but they're only symbols. Puppets, I think. I couldn't get that close the year I went. The crowds were crazy. I'm actually surprised no one wanted to actually kill some of the beasts this year after all that nonsense with the sun going out. I raised my eyebrows, surprised. Nonsense. My life had been consumed with the hows and whys of the incident, and a taxi driver dismissed it as nonsense. She slowed at a set of lights, and almost as if on cue, a man led a brown llama across an intersection. Sharon watched it casually. Maybe I was wrong. Does Australian culture have any lore about sun gods? Can you explain more about Spanish Incan beliefs and cultures? What the fuck does Australia have to do with this now? Did I miss a section? I want to know more about the Spanish. Sorry, Australia. I can't believe you've done this. I can't believe you've put out the sun. I can't believe you've bloody done this, mate. Couldn't believe. Becky. I can't Becky. Becky. I can't Becky E. You've done this. That's what you've put. She shook her head. Fuck's sake, Matt. Can't believe you've done this. Brushing away my question. This game is weird. This game is great. This game is great. It would be better to ask the old geezer when we get there. I've only been here a few years, and I'm not the most academically advanced person around. I was impressed I got Spanish under my belt. I sighed, settling back into my seat, waiting out the ride. Sharon seemed content to ride in silence, so I let it go. I don't mean to alarm you, mate, but it seems that we're being followed. Friends of yours? Before I could turn to look, an SUV suddenly slammed into the back of Sharon's taxi, skidding us forward several feet. I braced myself against the console just in time. Sharon wasn't so lucky. Bloody hell. Bloody hell. She took the wheel and the tyres screeched as she took off again. Teacher, we are considerably above the legal speed limit. No shit, honey. As we raced away towards the end of the street, the next set of lights turned orange. Screw the traffic on either side inched forwards. There was a tiny side street on the right, barely big enough for Sharon's car to fit through. Her eyes flickered between the two options as she gripped the steering wheel tightly. Turn down the side street, shoot through the red lights. So they said the side street was just barely, but then if it's an SUV would not be able to follow? Whereas the red lights, I feel like the SUV will then still go through the red lights. I feel. But then we could get crashed into. I'm thinking side street. What does everybody else think? I feel like side street is... But then, oh, this says barely would fit in a car, but I don't know. That's what she said. Run the public over. So you think I should shoot through the red lights or down the side street? Because down... Which way's got the public? So my drink is dying already. Red light, side. Oh, you fucking... Alright, we're flipping a coin. Where's Google? Where's my Google? Where's Google? We'll flip a coin. Flip a coin. I say both. Wonderful, Libby. Helpful. Right, heads for the side street. Through the red lights is tails. Okay, so you have proof. It's heads. Can't have a go at me. It's a Tuesday. Yes, it is, Kit, as my lovely scheduling in Discord said. I was going to be streaming this Tuesday. I know Discord doesn't like you, honey, don't worry. We know. Anyway, heads. So, side street. If I die, it's Matt's fault. Hi, Kit. Was 100% sure it said... It did say Wednesday. Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Saturday, Sunday. We're doing... Well, unfortunately, we're doing it all if Matt's internet lasts tomorrow. I hope. Thanks, Discord. You're here. That's all that matters. Welcome to this. She swerved, tail spinning into the tiny side street. The back end smacked into the corner as the car squeezed in. A side mirror snapped off, but Sharon didn't seem to care, revving ahead with a wicked grin on her face. Vote Matt out. Oh no, Matt's trying to give me good pointers. Let's outrun him, eh, mate? Maybe she's Australian. I feel like she's Australian, because she keeps saying mate a lot, and that's probably why he asked about Australian nature. That chunky bugger can't go so fast down here, she cackled maniacally. Definitely avoiding debris in our way. Oh, it is! Bzzz. Oh, bloody hell, mate! Oh, fucking bloody hell. Teacher. These might be the same people who killed Professor Soul and broke into Dolores' house. I would advise against allowing them to capture you. Thanks, Moti. Thank you, Moti. I'll remember that. Sharon cackled again, approaching the end of the lane, a decision once more in our way. We could head right towards the city and lose the SUV persistently making its way down the lane. The left led away from the busy streets toward the outskirts in the direction of the historian's house. Sharon looked to me. We want to go to the historians, but do we want to take the SUV to the historians and get the historian killed? But then if we go to the city, how long is it before we're back at the historians? I didn't think this choice game would actually be this questioning. I thought it was going to be really fucking easy. I feel like the city is the safer option. I'm thinking that too, because I feel like if we... Libby, go back to breaking your foot. I feel like, yeah, the city's safer because then we don't get the historian killed. And we need him alive. Libby being helpful. Libby's being great. Kit said city, we're going for the city. Laura says city, we're going for the city. Outskirts. Ah, sorry, Matt. Outskirts. Outskirts. Sharon skidded around on the roads like a devil, obviously talented, but enjoying the rush. The glint in her eyes betrayed how much she enjoyed the danger. Skirt, skirt. I craned my head around to try and catch the sight of the I wasn't finished reading! I have to inform you, teacher, that Miss Sharon is breaking several road rules right now. Ordinarily, I would inform the authorities, but I can understand if you do not want me to. However, this is making me highly anxious. I've never related to a watch before. I braced myself against the floor of the car with my feet. I actually agreed with Moti. Sharon drove through the city at an alarming rate and people were leaping out of the way of her speeding tyres. She twisted down so many different streets I hardly knew where we were in comparison to where we started. We ended up in what looked like an industrial district, and when I looked behind us, I couldn't see the SUV anywhere. I can't see them, I shouted. And Sharon whooped, fist pumping the air. Isn't Moti an AI? Yeah, he's an AI, but he's also on a watch. So he's like an Apple Watch, but better. Anxious AI doesn't sound great. It does not. She twitched the wheel suddenly and threw us into a car park of a factory site, tucking us out of sight at the very end of the area. Breathed a sigh of relief that no one seemed to be at work today. Sharon smacked the wheel in satisfaction. think that'll do it. I do reckon they could have followed us, though, through all of that. That was a hoof. She grinned widely. I smiled myself, the adrenaline and relief making me feel elated. They know Miss Sharon's car now, teacher. Smart. There is a chance they might be able to find us again. I suggest that you be cautious in how you proceed. As much as Moti was right, I also knew that if people were following me, that it wouldn't be long before they found the historian. Time wasn't on my side. Sharon was still chortling beside me, cheeks rosy. You ready to head over to the old geezer's house or what? I read a book once where the Aya was crazy and murdered people because he thought it was best to kill a few to save many. Isn't that just Endgame? Isn't that just like the whole plotline of Infinity War? I'm just gonna kill some of the population to save the rest. Have fun. Oof. Oof. Does Costco have a public library that I could utilise? Just until I know it's safe to proceed. Well, sure, but I thought you were in a hurry. I chewed it over. Now, knowing my luck, if we go to the library, we're going to come back and the historian's going to be dead. But if we go to the historian, I feel like someone else is going to be dead. I just feel like a lot of people are going to be dead. Basically, honestly, that's the whole plot line. Why is it so warm in here? I should have put the fan on. God fucking damn it. Go to the... I do not like this anymore. I would... What would I do? Wouldn't go to Peru in the first place. I'm sorry, Beth. I'm afraid I can't do that. Are you going to be my AI now? Oh, no thank you. You run off in Minecraft. No thank you. I'd have an AI that's gone for whatever. Sorry, can't do that right now. I've collected 3 cats, 4 dogs, 4 parrots, and a llama. And then I'll just turn up and it's at the house like, here's all my pretties. Don't know how I feel about that. Don't know how I feel. I think I'm gonna go... I feel like the historian, to get it over and done with. And then if he dies, he dies. That's good logic. Your prison is no longer required on this server. Just out. Done. We're going for the historian. If he dies, he dies. We're at the historian's house. Let's do this. What do you think I'm about? I'm afraid it doesn't matter if you want me along or not, mate. I'm not about to sit out in the open just waiting. Well, I needed you to translate. That's why I brought you along in the first place. Knock knock, motherfuckers. Together we walked up to the old incandescent house and knocked on the door. What's his name again? I asked Sharon, waiting. She turned to me and smiled. You'll have to ask him. I can't pronounce it. Great, thanks. You're my fucking translator. The door swung open and an elderly man in traditional Peruvian dress opened the door, chattering away in a strange dialect of Spanish. Sharon talked back in fluent, rolling tone. I bit back my envy. I've never been too good at learning languages. Looking the same. After a short discussion, the old man waved us into his home and we followed him through to the back room. Great, really now? Teacher, there is a software update available for me. May I update? A software update. What's in the update, Moti? I looked away from the historian and whispered. The ability to connect to local wireless networks, teacher. Now that doesn't seem safe. They're gonna track me. No. Maybe next time. Yeah, I feel like they'll be able to track me because I'll connect to different places. Felt bad about not letting Moti update, but now really wasn't a good time to be messing around with... See, Kit gets me. No, big no, you do not Let them track you. If I am Moti sus, you leave Moti out of this. He's a sweetheart. I've had them for 2 days. I've had this little bitch for 2 minutes. I've had him for an hour and 6, but still. The historian's back room was set up like a den or library, books and papers lining every wall. He started lifting flyers and passing them to Sharon, who passed them to me. What was he saying? I asked her when the historian wandered off, as if he was about to get something. She sighed dramatically, bored. The usual tourist stuff, where's the best place to stand, why is it so important, blah blah blah. The historian came back with a painting depicting an old emperor standing at the temple, hands up, raised to the sky. Tell him I need to ask him more important questions. Tell him... I hesitated. Shan raised an eyebrow. Tell him I'm here about the sun going out. The old man suddenly stopped rummaging around in the corner. He slowly turned to stare pointedly at us. What is it that you wish to know? He asked in perfect English. I stumbled over my words, shocked at his sudden change. Sharon, standing next to me, looked just as taken back as I did. He waved his hand dismissively. It's more likely people will leave you alone if you're a crazy old fruit, he explained. Means I get more work done. Ask your question. I feel like I want to ask about the gods, but... The reign of Cusco. I feel like the gods. We're gonna go gods. I'm gonna try the gods, see what happens. The only Incan god that matters is Intai. He told me, moving around the room to look back at the painting on the wall. It was a sun motif, similar to many that I had already seen around the city. Something was crude about this particular depiction, and I suspected the old man had painted it himself. Intai is angry. That's why the sun ceased to shine. We've neglected the old teaching for far too long, and now, even if they wanted to, they couldn't set things right. Not even the Spaniards. If we were to try, how would we go about fixing her up? Sharon asked, eyebrows frowned in confusion. The historian rolled his eyes again and left the painting to face us. You aren't listening. You can't. Next question. Okay, ask about the importance of the temple, or ask about the royal family. I want to know more. I want to know more about the family. He gave me a stern look, and I was suddenly reminded of of when I was a small child at school being scolded by the teachers. Alright then, that was a waste of my time. The emperors were never descended from Intai. That's just a myth. Don't waste my time. Next question. Ooh, yes, the eclipse ceremonies. That's what I want to know more. The historian grew still, so much that I thought I'd angered him. He collapsed into his chair as in defeat. There used to be old protocols. The magic makers and medicine men of the world would know what to do in times like this. But they were lost. Maybe even before the Spaniards attempted to destroy all the records, the knowledge was already lost. I kept closer to him, kneeling next to his chair. What knowledge? Do you think this is the first time the sun has gone out? No. It happened before. The Incas knew how to set things right. He leaned close to me, whispering. There are legends of priests who do their work in the temple, sustaining life for us, but now everything is gone. He leaned back in the chair with a great heart devoid of energy. He continued to play with the wooden amulet tied around his neck. It looked like some kind of cog. A thumping noise caused us all to jump. An angry voice yelled from the front door. I might not know Spanish, but I could tell when the police were at the door. The old man stood and hobbled to the door and opened it, only to be pushed aside as 2 policemen burst in and made a beeline for me. Before I could protest, they locked me in cuffs and started frog marching me out to the waiting police car. Why are you arresting me? What is my crime? I got hustled into the back of the police car and driven to the nearby station. No matter what I said, the officers wouldn't respond to me, only shooting odd looks at each other. When we arrived, they dumped me into a waiting room without any explanation. Frustrated, I waited. Why the fuck have I been arrested? Teacher, are they going to confiscate me now? I won't let them! I didn't reply. The police hadn't noticed that Moti was on my wrist, and I didn't want them to. Eventually, the door opened again, and I got to my feet. Sharon walked in. A sour expression on her face. I sat back down, surprised. Don't start, she quipped. I know it's against my better judgment to be here, but if they make you wait for a translator, it'll take hours. I volunteered. I smiled, flooded with relief. Thank you. I told you not to start. She growled just as the door opened and 2 officers walked in. Sharon and the 2 greeted each other in Spanish before she took a seat next to me across the table from the 2 uniforms. They spoke for a moment and then Sharon turned to me. They want to know why you're in Cusco. In your own words. The thing is, I've told her we're on holiday, yet we're investigating the sun. Do I then tell... I feel like if I tell the police the truth, it's not going to go well. But if I lie to them, it's not going to go well. None of this is going to go well. It's not going to go well. Do I lie or do I tell the truth? That's the big question. Do I lie or do I tell the truth? Because I'm thinking truth. Because they'll think I'm crazy. And I feel like that's the better option. But what if they then just like kill me and it's over, game's dead, you failed. Right, I'm gonna go with Matt. Me and Matt, we're together forever. Truth. The truth started out from my lips. This was possibly the first time that I've been straight with the police. She relayed my answer and they talked amongst themselves for a moment before the men left. Sharon stood. They were going to put you in a holding cell until they can verify your story. Apparently they got some kind of tip that you were causing a public disturbance. She looked towards the door, then back again. I won't tell them it was us speeding through town in a taxi if you don't. And with that, she was gone. The officers returned to transfer me to a different room, this one with a bed and a toilet. I wrinkled my nose in disgust. Moti vibrated persistently on my wrist. Without your phone, I cannot connect to the internet, teacher. Is there anything I can assist with? No internet? I looked around the cell. The walls might be pretty thick to be able to prevent a cell signal from reaching me. Damn it. I guess digging through the walls is not an option anymore. This makes jailbreaking complicated. Teacher, I highly recommend against breaking out of jail. I was just kidding, Moti. Also, we should be free soon anyway. Is it because of the lack of conclusive evidence? Oh, yeah, no shit, honey. Yes. I had no idea who called in the tip about me causing a public disturbance, but if all they had was that tip, then it wasn't going to be enough for even a minor offence. At least according to my experience. I used to be an investigator for the law firm, after all. Ooh, okay, we're getting a bit of backstory. But then again, this was Peru. Things could be different here. I'm so crying. I'm so unable to be any of use when I'm not connected to the internet to you. It's okay, you're fine, sweetheart. It's okay, you're plenty useful. You adorable little fucker. I'll keep trying to improve my functions. Suddenly I thought at that time Moti asked me for software updates, something about local wireless network connectivities. Perhaps Moti could access the internet from a local wireless connection. No! I don't trust it. Moti, do you want to update your software now? I'm unable to do so without an internet connection. Too tired to be disappointed. I suppose there was nothing else to do but wait. I lay down on the cot and rested a little. Hours later, the officers came back and opened my cell. One of them pulled out a badly translated piece of paper and handed it to me. They were released me due to my lack of evidence, as I expected they would. I called Sharon to pick me up as soon as I had some coverage. As I was jumping into a taxi, she grinned easily at me. Not a bad hit of adrenaline, is it? She stepped on the gas and sped towards her home. I looked down at my boots as she drove and pondered my next move. I feel like I should say sorry. Karen looked at me with a twinkle in her eye and a sly look on her face. It was grouse. A grouse is a bird. Yeah, grouse, a medium to large game bird. Meaning. They're adorable, I love them. Oh, they look pretty cute. Right, so we're thinking she's Australian, ain't she? Australian. Very good. Grouse in Australia, so she is definitely Australian. Means very good. Inspired by beach and surf culture. And I love how people also ask, what does spunk mean? In Australia. A sexually attractive person. But in Australia, spunk is most commonly used to refer to a person of either sex who is regarded as sexually attractive. Anyway, all that excitement running through the streets, being in car chases. To be honest, for the first time I'm a bit curious now about how this is going to end. It's like in America, spunky means something different too. That's what I mean, like, there it says, like, it's very different to English, because it either spunk means you have, like, this comfort, you know, you're spunky, you're having fun, or generally means spunk. And Australia just straight up, no, mate, you are 10 out of 10. 10 out of 10. She shifted, looking out the window of a taxicab. It seems to me that everything connects back to the temple. Into rhymey, however the fuck we're saying it these days. The stuff that the old man was saying, it all leads back down to there. Spunk equals pen. Exactly. You would look at a woman and be like, you are spunk. I don't know how I like that. Don't know how I like that. She chewed the idea around in her head a bit, moment biting her lower lip in concentration. Here's the breakdown. The Inti Raymi festival kicks off tomorrow, with the parades through the city leading to the temple where the main event takes place. I nodded, remembering reading a booklet detailing this year's festivities. On the other hand, if you head over earlier, you might be able to have a better look at the temple without all the commotion that accompanies the parade. Fwah! Pretty spunky, mate! Miss Sharon is right, teacher. However, if the people chasing us are also going to the temple, it is safer to be in the festival parade where the crowd is. Sharon cocked her head to the side and considered me. So what's it going to be? Head straight to the temple or join in the festival? Ladies and gentlemen, go to the temple early or go to the festival and go to the temple then. I will let you decide. So we can enter. It's so warm in here. Max says temple. Anybody else in the last 3 seconds? Oh, Libby actually says temple. That's 2 for simple. Get your spunk on. Oh, Australia. Temple. Oh, we're seeing many temples. We're going to the temple. Here we go, lads. I don't understand the lorry lines. Just to give you a quick rundown. Basically, the sun went out. I want to change mine. No. Sucked. The sun went out once. Comes back. This dude is investigating what happened. His friend's been shot. Another friend is missing. He had to get a flight to Peru. He got kidnapped. He's now in Peru trying to figure out why this sun festival has to do with obviously the sun going missing and this obviously sun festival, blah, blah, blah. And this is what's happening. I thought it was going to be a pretty simple game. this is what it is. And I actually really like it. So I'm glad I bothered to play it. Sharon's mouth twisted, excitement flooding her face. Breaking into the temple, eh? Sounds like you could use a friend. I frowned, cautious of the sudden change in attitude. Look, I've had a ball today, she explained. More fun than a backyard cricket on New Year's Eve. She's definitely Australian. I wouldn't mind coming along for the ride to see if you can save our bloody broken son. I weighed my options. That was a lot more drama than I was like, what do you think? I felt I downloaded 3 of these games and suddenly I was like, the sun goes out. I was like, this would be cool. And then next thing I know, shot, bang, dead, all of this. Wow. Owen Wilson's coming in, look at everything else. Poor woman got shot earlier and immediately Matt played Owen Wilson. It would be nice to have someone to watch my back. Yeah, no, we want a friend. We have an AI, so a pleasure to have me in the view. Grinning into her ear, she nodded. We're having a friend. Better rest up well tonight then, eh? Back in a spare bedroom, I readied myself for bed with a bone-deep weariness. As I stripped my jeans, I heard something fall to the floor. The pen! The pen! The pen! It was the pen! The pen I'd taken from Beefcake while I was being kidnapped in the Sudan. I forgot about the pen. Quickly, I leaned down and picked it up with the corner of my shirt, not wanting to taint fingerprints that might be there. I turned it over carefully. There, stuck against the bold-coloured plastic, was the logo of Flare Energy. The CEO from the beginning. This last revelation was too much for me. I tucked the pen away, resolving to think about it later. I fell down onto the bed, my muscles spasming as they finally rested after my long trial. Even though my body was exhausted, it took me far too long to relax, the events of the last few days playing through my head. Slowly, though, my thoughts became less coherent and I began to drift, finding a small amount of peace once more. How do you not feel a pain in your crotch? He tucked... So, how it's described is when he's, like, tied up, he tucks it sort of into the side. But it's like, you know when something's just... You don't feel it anymore. You know, when you, like, put a hair tie around your wrist, you feel it for the first 5 minutes, and then you never feel it again, and you forget it's there, and it's in all your pictures. So, he's tucked it, I think, like, in the side. And that's sort of... That's my going for it, because... I'm just assuming, but I forgot the pen existed. And I'm this person. Arc 2 completed. What is the time? We've got time. You and 31% of players will be going over to Temple Alley. Thanks, Mons. It's good to know you're looking out for the super offensive messages. It's just, I've got to permit them, you know? So in the first arc... we did 33%. I think we seem to be picking the ones that people aren't really picking. Everyone else is going for everything else. We're big brains. Well, that means we're going to die, but big brains. Moti didn't wake me up like I'd expected. Instead, the morning sun came in the window, woke me naturally, and I yawned. I reached for Moti's controls, only to find it not attached to my wrist. I couldn't remember taking it off last night. I sat up suddenly, taking in the room around me and feeling around my bedding in case Moti had come undone. It never had before. The muffled voices of Sharon and another woman came to me through the door in the direction of the kitchen. Paid little mind to it until I heard Moti's electronic tones. I quickly put on my pants and tore into the kitchen, scooping Moti up from the table. Sharon and the other woman laughed together. The second woman was a replica of Sharon, but looked around 20 years younger. Her eyes twinkled as she glanced at me. I secured Moti to my wrist, feeling uneasy. Moti grew fucking legs and booked it. Oh, God. This has to be the daughter. Good morning. I was just showing my daughter. Yeah, the daughter, so Kit, just to let you know, the daughter wants one. That was a big part of this little bit of the story at the start. Chrissy, this is the fair from yesterday I was telling you about. Chrissy stood and shook my hand easily. She's a mighty fine gadget, that's for sure, she said, her accent less thick than her mother's. If you ever want to get rid of it, just let me know and I'll collect. She turned back to her mother. I gotta go, Ma. I'll catch you for lunch tomorrow. The two women hugged and made their way to the front door, leaving me alone. Tapped Moti's screen. Good morning, teacher. Miss Sharon borrowed me to show her daughter. It was fascinating to see two people so much alike. Yeah, they do seem like they're the same person, don't they? I muttered, still miffed to have woken up without my little companion. Walking over to the kettle, I poured myself some of that coca leaf tea that Sharon had, knowing I need lots of energy today. She joined me as I sat at the table. So, what's first on the list for today, boss? It's the temple rite. Ooh, we need to coordinate, figure out a timeline, or it's the temple rite, act like a tourist. Coordinate. I feel like we need to be smart. We're gonna go coordinate. We need to be smart. Teacher, with Sharon's permission, I can link your cell phones. That way, if we get separated at the temple, I can keep both of you informed on the other. I relayed the messages back to Sharon, who smiled and rubbed her hands together. Sounds like a gross idea. Grouse idea. Tell the magnet calculator to do that. The magnet calculator. Moti's face was less than pleased. I am not magnetized, teacher. It will be bad for my programming. Timelines. The kit gets me. I can make some... Did I go for that? Yeah, I did. Did I do it? Did I do the timeline? What did I pick? I don't know anymore. I made some calculator if you need some. I let the comment go, grinning at the miscommunication. Sharon was never short for slang for pretty much anything. I stood and rinsed my mug, popping it upside down on the counter. I thought over the details that I'd learned from reading yesterday and started to form a plan. Right, let's split up to start with. You pick the timeline, Dave. Thank you. Let's split up to start with and look around. We can team up later. Let's stick together. If we need to, we can split up later. I feel like it's better to stick together first, then go. Like, having them together to get the idea of the scene and then be like, okay, quickly. It's the Scooby-Doo logic I'm going with. I've seen Scooby-Doo, I know the right answer. We get her on the same fucking wavelength. Scooby-Doo. Oh god. Oh god. Jeez. I mean, Scooby-Doo, man. I don't think Scooby-Doo is the best thing we're going off. Because it's 1 minute it's, hey, look, this is all this. Let's split up. Or, hey, we're screwed. Kit, what do you think I should go for? You pick the answer. I will trust you right now. Split up and search for clues. So you're saying, Laura's saying the top. Kit, what are you saying? Do you want to go with split up to start with? And see if that is our possible right move. The Scooby-Doo way. The real Scooby-Doo way. Not let's all go in as a group first and then split up when we need to find more clues. Whole generations know what they should do. So let's see, Kit's saying the bottom. That's what I'm thinking stick together, then split up. But now Laura's saying split up and search for clues. Because my first thought would be you wait a moment and then do it. Let's go with bottom. Should we go with bottom? I feel like bottom. Stick together, then search for clues. We're going with it. I'm winging it. Sorry, Laura. Love you. If you want to go anywhere, you better get moving. Sharon Group, checking her clock. The streets will all be blocked off. Don't shoot, then ask questions. Don't shoot, then ask questions? What? Shooting many questions. Oh, because I said, are we going for bottom then? Oh, do you mean that bit? I always do. I always want to be sure. I'm playing a fucking choice game. I want to try and not die. If you want to go anywhere, you better get moving. Sharon Green, checking her clock. The streets will all be blocked off in an hour to be made ready. But most places have already started. I cursed. Back. So much for having a moment to find my feet. I rushed to the spare room. In short order, I was dressed and ready. Sharon offered to drive me in the taxi for a reduced fare. The first time she compromised on her prices. It would be wise, teacher. From the data I gathered last night, the crowds today will peak at midday and won't thin for several days. Miss Sharon will be an excellent mode of transport. sighed and agreed. I had planned to walk the distance to get my bearings, but I was certainly not in the mood for a relaxing stroll. Assess stitch and split up rather than having less time to assess later. Yes, smart. In short order, we made our way to the starting point of the Inti Raymi festival. There were only a few death-defying feats by Sharon in a taxi, but his little face would have been green if the LEDs had colour. Perhaps I was wrong when I said it would be wise to travel with Miss Sharon, teacher. I had to agree. Head inside or scout around the outside. Where do they do all the stuff? I'm trying to remember from the beginning. They do the sacrifices. Was that inside or outside? Because they sacrificed the llamas, and that was outside. No, inside, wouldn't it? It's a temple. But then people would want to watch it, so it'd have to be outside. I want to say outside. Somebody back up my theories. But the outside would be better. Scout for other entrances. Kit gets me. Would that be on the outside? So that's the outside, right? Both. Libby, you're getting banned in a minute. Ban Libby. Can't pick both. Well, I can, maybe, later on, but... Head outside. Okay, so I'm thinking both. Ban Matt. Matt's out, gone. So we're saying outside. Laura says that, like, skirt out the outside. Okay, we're saying outside. Banned. Oh! Kids out here doing God's work. Ban Matt. Thanks, Kit. We'll take a moment, maybe. Head on inside. So anyway, now we're splitting up, but I think we've had to not split off. Murmur to Sharon, I'm going to have a look around and see if there's anything outside that we can use. Wait, but I thought we weren't splitting off, so why are we fucking splitting off? Sharon nodded and moved inside, barely waiting for me to finish speaking. Shaking my head, I began to wander around the outside, looking for any other entrances or grates that I could take advantage of. Well done, Kit. Well done. Genius! Several things caught my eye, including what looked like a cellar door at the back of the temple that looked like an add-on. There was nothing that I could investigate with this many people milling around. Huffing, I headed inside. The opulence of the older temple was still there, and the framework, but the newer Spanish church had almost completely overtaken it in an equally beautiful way. I played the tourist and poked around with wide eyes, fitting in with the rest of the crowd, who seemed to be made up of Americans. A family of Australians took turns sitting in an ancient chair to take photos, while laughing loudly with each other. I briefly wondered where Sharon was, but trusted her not to get into trouble. Gonna rename myself Indiana Jones. Teacher, I found 2 exits that don't appear on public plans I found on the internet. The first is a trapdoor that is located in the large room behind the altar. The second is a door in the lesser room to your left. If there is anything to discover here, then I suggest looking in those locations. I gazed around at the rapidly thinning crowds of people in the temple. While there was less people to see me sneaking around, it also meant less cover. At least with the trapdoor I could hide behind something, but it would be obvious that I wasn't meant to be there. With the door, it would be simpler. Risk the trapdoor, or try the normal door. What are we thinking? We're all invested now. Libby says door. Libby says the simple door. And Matt says trap. What do I have a WhatsApp? Who fucking WhatsApp me? Oh, it's John. Trap. That's 2 for trap. 2 for trap. Will Kit if oh, I filled it. Oh, alright. Oh, there's only 4 of us here. So, to Google. Flip a coin. Why do I still have desktop mode on for this shit? Alright, so heads is the trapdoor, tails is the door. Flip. Heads. Proof. So you can't have a go at me. So, trapdoor. And if it all goes horribly wrong, it's Laura and Matt's fault. It's fair trade. I snuck towards the secret hole in the ground, keeping a close eye on the people around me. It seemed safe enough. Easing the chunk of wood open, I slid inside as quickly as I could, closing it behind me with a muffled thump, encasing me in complete darkness. Prepared for such a predicament, I pulled the pencil torch from my pocket and switched it on to illuminate my surroundings. A rustling in a dark corner startled me, and I prepared my fight or flight skills, but it proved unnecessary, for under boxes of papers and memorabilia, 2 fat rats made an appearance running towards me. 2 fat rats. The room had no other exit, and the space down here was only a little wider than the spare bedroom. I grunted, unimpressed. Y'all sucked. The basement always revealed the truth in the mystery novels, but I guess it wasn't the case this time. Hi, Remy. Remy, the ratatouille. I straightened. Remy! And reached for the trapdoor again to let myself out, praying that no one was watching. As I reached up, the door began to open. I froze. The same fight or flight instinct coming back. Ratmat! Ratmat! I eyed the boxes. Noting they might be big enough to hide me. I only had an instant to decide. Hide behind the boxes, think of an excuse. We're just gonna hide. Straight up gonna try and see how we fit behind these boxes. I dove behind the boxes just in time for the door to open. Matata! Matata! Oh, I fucking hate Rattata. Rattata. I fucking hate them on Pokemon Go. They're awful. A few steps sounded and stopped near me. Rats. The Australian accent startled me enough to peek out from behind the boxes. I knew that voice. Sharon startled me. Sheepish grin on her face. Busted? Damn, sorry friend. I saw you come down and I thought I'd join you. Cursing, I strained my ears to see if anyone had noticed Sharon's entrance, but it all seemed quiet now. Moti lit up on my wrist and I glanced down. It seems Miss Sharon followed us. It did seem like that. You're right. I scrubbed my face vigorously and sighed. At least Sharon was perspective enough. Maybe I should keep a closer eye on her. Keep quiet and do as I say, I told her, keeping my voice down. Oh, I'm sorry. Keep quiet and do as I say. She nodded enthusiastically. Her face brightened as a wicked smile crept across it. Deal. Wait here and then follow me in a few moments. Let's leave together quickly. Ooh. I feel like one after the other is the safer route. Because then if one gets caught, the other one can wait and then run. Whereas if they leave together quickly and someone's waiting, they're both screwed. Right? That's like plausible logic. I'm not like going insane. There is plausible logic. To do the wait here and then follow me. That's what they do in the movies, right? Oh, it's getting warm. Yeah, top. Right, top. We regrouped within eyeline of the entrance of the temple, blissfully ignored by everyone who was still around and tourist volunteers alike. The festivities were fully in swing, and with everything going on, Sharon and I were just 2 bothersome tourists. What's the plan, boss? She said. Where do we want to go next? Teacher, there's still the second door I mentioned earlier. I hope that we can find something. It would be most disappointed if I can be no help to you. I also remember the cellar door outside. Maybe with Sharon accompanying me, I could get her to cause enough of a distraction that I could crack into it. I gazed around, checking out the volume of the crown. This would be the perfect time for us to make our move. So, wait. So the cellar door is the outside one that he wants to use Sharon to do, but then the door with Sharon... I feel like we have to try inside. We didn't try inside. So, we're gonna try the door. Keeping my voice... Okay, I nodded, leaning close to Sharon, keeping my voice low. There's another door that isn't on the public plans that we're gonna try and check out. Take my arm. I offered it to her, and she hooked her arm in mine. Together we walked over to the door casually. Once I was there, I reached out and gripped the handle firmly, twisting. It was locked. What a fucking surprise. Acting as if I was just leaning, I brought Sharon around to block the doorway as well, feeling for my lockpicks. With her there, I could pick the lock without anyone noticing. Hopefully. Out of the corner of my eye, I noticed a group of people wander in and glanced at them warily. What I saw made me freeze. Each member of the 6 walking in had golden eyes. A chill went up my spine. They talked amongst themselves, and I suddenly became worried about being found out by whoever this mysterious group was. I want to try and pick this lock. Because I want to see what they're going to do if they come in. How would you notice someone's eyes? How close to you at the entrance? I'm going to go with the lock. We're going to try it. If we die, we die. My fingers fumble with the lock, pierce my hand as Sarah tensed up behind me. Mate, I think we have company. And I swear on my mum's grave that those are the same brutes that tried to run us off the roads yesterday. A shiver ran down my back, and I redoubled my efforts to get the lock undone. I cast a quick glance over my shoulder to see that they hadn't noticed us yet. Quick! Teacher! The lock suddenly clicked, and the knob turned. Hastily grabbing Sharon, I surged forward into the room, closing the door behind us, engulfing us once more in darkness. Sharon shook her arm, releasing herself from my grip. Well done, mate. Think this wrong place is a light switch? In the darkness, I could hear her brushing along the wall, looking for something to illuminate the path. We just had a torch. We just had a torch. Where the fuck's the torch? Moti lit up on my wrist, and with the dull light I could see a stairwell leading down. Thanks, Moti. I reached into my backpack and pulled out my trusty torch. There we go, just to be sure, flickering it on. Sharon looked at it balefully. Don't suppose you have a second one of those? Sorry, I don't usually have company, or just say, oh, do you know what? Sorry, I don't usually have company, like soz. Sharon threw me a sideways look as we descended to the stairs quietly. So far, there were no signs of pursuit. But there was no need to push our luck. So, you break into national monuments often, do you? I said nothing. There was no need for her to know my sordid past. Something crunched beneath my feet as we reached the bottom of the stairs. Looking down, I was surprised and dismayed to find that it was a dirt floor. Cellar. We're in a cellar. I sighed. So much for finding something useful. Teacher, there is a cellar door ahead of you. At least you won't have to run into the GoldenEye people again. Ah, so I guess if we had gone to the cellar door outside, we would have come up and ended up bumping into them. Grumbling, I knew Moti was right. I closed the space between myself and the door and pushed upwards towards the light. Maybe not. Only to find the doors double-locked with a padlock. Supposedly with a padlock. I swore passionately. Cunt. Stumbling back onto a step, Sharon simply raised an eyebrow. Looks like we're going back up to the temple. She waggled a finger at me. Not so fast. There's a false floor over here. I can feel it with my foot. No idea where it goes. But surely it's suspicious. A hidden door in a hidden cellar. I didn't point out that the cellar wasn't quite hidden, just not accessible. There was a dangerous light in her eyes, and for not the first time, I wondered why she was so keen to come with me. I weighed my options once more. There was a group of possibly murderous golden-eyed people upstairs, But there was no promises with Sharon's option either. Should we chance the false floor? I feel like we should. Feel like we should. Should we see if there's like loads of bodies or something underneath and some creepy shit in the last like 10 minutes or so? We're till the end of the arc. I'm hoping once we get to the end of the arc will be soon. But what do you think, Lance? Do we chance the false floor? Because I think yes. Oh, stream. No. None of that 109 dropping bullshit. I'm playing a fucking choice game. Bodies. Tablet dying. Oh no, Matt. No, not your tablet. 36. Oh, R.I.P. He will be missed. Anyway, let's talk shit about Matt now that he's gone. Matt's a hoe. Let's talk shit. Laura says bodies, and I feel like we should go for bodies too. I feel like bodies are the good way to go. To the bodies. I indicated for Sharon to lead the way. She headed into the back corner and started toeing around with her shoes, trying to find the edge of what she could feel. Moti once again laid up on my wrist. Teacher, I'm not sure about this. I can't find any plans that lead below to the complex. Last thing my tablet said to me. What, me calling you a hoe? Oh, it's getting dark. My batteries are low. Oh! Oh! Matt's a hoe. Can you imagine? I'm about to die. My final words. You're a bitch. Just keel over. We'll do the same. Not gonna lie. Deathbed. We'll be calling you every day. Anyone who's at my deathbed. Every name under the sun. Don't care. Don't care. Sharon pulled the corner of a flagstone up, throwing aside the dirt and triumphantly revealing a thin and dampened stairwell leading down. Shining my torch as far as it would go in the darkness, I looked at the stairs with trepidation. Let's hope they aren't rotten, Sharon shrugged, and I sighed, trying to dampen my excitement. This could still lead to nothing after all. I can't be loved, you've done this. Beloved! I can't be loved, you've done this. Believe me, you're not having any luck. You should make a shirt, Matt. It'll be like, I can't be key, beloved, something else, and then believe. Fuck. I'll design you one tomorrow. Put it in your merch store. I can't, little tick boxes, you know, like the shirts they have where it's the tick boxes, like, I can't believe, and it's like you either tick Becky, beloved, believe, fuck. We'll make it, it'll be fine. Dead. Teacher, I don't understand. I did extensive searches on whatever the fuck that is and found nothing like this. Not everything is found on the internet. But work will always be better than research. Not everything is found on the internet. I understand, teacher. Moti, don't betray me. The tunnel was tight and I struggled to get the torch to illuminate more than a few feet in front of me. Eventually I gave up and started going by touch, letting my flashlight hang by my side uselessly. You think they'd share this? Sharon grunted behind me, hunched over to avoid hitting her head on the low ceiling. Tourists love this type of thing. What do you think they have down here? The stairs came to an end and I raised my flashlight again, looking down a long tunnel with an even lower ceiling than the stairwell we just come from. Sharon sighed dramatically. I have no idea, I responded to her question, but it better be worth it. Sharon agreed in a colourful fashion as we made our way down the tunnel. Here and there I saw evidence of wildlife, animal droppings and such. I wondered if these tunnels would eventually lead us to outside once more. As if reading my thoughts. Moti piped up. I detect a small breeze, teacher. I deduce that there may be an escape tunnel ahead. I relayed the information to Sharon and she grunted in response. Let's hope that's not the only thing down here. All of this was for naught, I responded. 20 minutes later, fuck me, the tunnel opened and I stretched, standing up to my full height. Sharon, taller than me. I'm in a choice game and I am still the short person. I am the main character of a game and I'm still the short one. I have been scammed. Fuck you, Sharon. There was so much less grace and more swearing. Well, fuck you. We found ourselves in a bulbous area, rocky walls all around with Incan carvings on each side. At the far end there was another tunnel going down, as dark as the first. Inspect the carvings. Oh no, carvings. From my research I become familiar with the carvings found at this place. But these were completely new. I raised my light to better see them. Sharon tilted her head to the side and ran a finger over one of the one closest to her, disturbing the dust. This looks like it hasn't been touched in forever. I don't recognise any of these figures. I raised my phone camera so I could take a photo for Annalise later on. There was only so much I could do from here. Teacher, the motive of the sun is present throughout. I see that motif, I murmured, trying to make some sense of the depiction. In the centre stood a single man, arms outstretched with wiggly lines coming off him. Above him were two suns, one dark and one light. I remembered reading about human sacrifices in the time of an eclipse. It had to be related to what I was seeing here. The same figure was in a different illustration down the wall, tied to a pole before a crowd of people, and killed by robed figures. The next session showed the spirit of the sacrificed figure ascending to the sun, while the people celebrated around his body. So, what I'm getting here is that we start killing people until the sun is content, Sharon said, touching the last motif. Hey, anything's worth a try. It's what they used to do in the times of eclipse. Let's just talk normally. We don't really want to kill anyone right now. Never regret. If it's good, it's wonderful. If it's bad, it's an experience. That's not the worst advice Nightbot's ever given. I took several quick photos of the carvings with my phone camera before turning towards the next deep tunnel. Sharon put a hand on my shoulder and stopped me. Did you hear that? I stilled and strained my ears to hear what she had. Soon muffled footsteps reached me. It was coming from the stairs we had descended earlier. I shot her a careful look. She nodded, not needing me to tell her to be quiet. I shielded my light and hustled downwards to the next section of the tunnels. Given the echoing nature of stones, there was no telling how close the people were, or how many of them there were. The only thing certain was that we couldn't go back the way we came. Sharon gripped my shoulder as we continued onto the darkness, too cautious to lose my light. After a while, I stopped to listen once more, but I heard nothing but silence. Either they're gone, or are too far away. I think we should try to head back. We're getting nowhere, Sharon murmured to me. I shook my head before realising that she couldn't see me. You have to trust me, I know what I'm doing. Wait, trust. We need trust. We're in a dark tunnel. Sharon was silent, I took that as agreement. Moti said there was an exit down here, and I trusted Moti with my life. I switched my flashlight back on and continued making my way down, Sharon following right at my heels. Within 10 minutes we reached another opening, and I could stand and stretch again. For a moment I thought I'd stepped out into the open and we were seeing stars above me in the night sky. I stared in wonder at the cavernous air around me. I wonder where we are below the city, teacher. It is unlikely that any buildings would be spotted on such porous ground. I agreed. What I first thought were stars were actually shafts of light coming from the ground above. The sun was high in the sky, it being nearly noon. In front of me, like in an old adventure movie, was a rope bridge. Well then, let's go. Probably safe to climb down then back up, but it's up to you. Sharon appeared at my shoulder, staring down into the ravine that the rope bridge crossed. Which will it be? Climb down and up the ravine, or cross the rope bridge? My thought is rope bridge, because you don't know what's at the bottom of the ravine, but also at the same time, if that rope bridge breaks, you're at the bottom of the ravine anyway. Indiana Jones. I think he's done like 8 of them. Both. Banned. Out. Are good options. We saying rope bridge. Is that what we're going with? We're gonna have snakes. Bridge to Terabithia Part 2. Out. Gone. Get out of here. Leave. Out. Jumanji. God. So we go with rope bridge. That's what, because Kit's just naming movies. Rope bridge, rope bridge, rope bridge, rope bridge. No going back now. Oof. There wasn't enough time. I won't be silenced. Fight me, bitch. There wasn't enough time, I thought as I walked towards the bridge, sizing it up. Hastily I stepped forward, gripping the ropes either side for balance. Sharon was less hesitant and followed close behind me. Neither are good options. They are fucking not. We're gonna die either way. Below me there used to be a river, but either beavers got to it or humans did, because it looked like I hadn't seen a drop of water in decades. I hurried along, still mindful of the viewers behind us. Teacher, please be careful. Snap. Well, we're dead. Told you. But we did it anyway. The rope on my left snapped and I began to fall into the ravine. Sharon, standing behind me, grabbed my arm to steady me. I breathed a sigh of relief. She waited until I was steady again before releasing me. Easy does it, mate, she said, nudging me to move along. Indeed. Teacher, are you alright? Nothing but a bruised ego. Reaching the other side took longer than I had anticipated, but we got there in the end. Moti seemed as pleased as I was. However, judging from the gold inlay of the statue ahead, we might find something useful before we leave. Moti wasn't wrong. Now that I was closer to it, I could see that, in fact, it was a statue, and not a bundle of rocks haphazardly placed. The natural light fell easy onto it, allowing me to look at it without my flashlight. It was a statue of a robed man with a gem adoring his forehead. A constellation of stars was depicted on the robe. I would steal it. Behind him were more statues, some of them praying to the man. Was this Inti, the god of the sun? But it couldn't be, because more statues were preparing to sacrifice the man. And that made no sense. Stepping back, I looked for anything related to the sun. Motif or a depiction, but found nothing. Yet, this statue was, as Moti had said, cast in gold. I don't understand, Sharon mused. I agreed. Fishing a lighter from her pocket, she held it close to the statue's outstretched hands. There was something in his palms, but before I could inspect it, it suddenly became dark. Teacher, I believe this is what humans would call an omen. Fucking bad one. Just light it again, Sharon, I urged, staring hard. When she didn't answer, I turned. I couldn't see her in the dark. Frowning, I cast an eye around. Why did it suddenly seem darker? Wasn't there light coming in from above? It's barely noon, she whispered. I can't bloody believe it! I can't bloody believe it! It's in the game! I can't believe you've done this! I can't bloody believe it! I can't bloody believe it! Suddenly I understood. The sun is no longer visible, teacher. Remain calm! I feel like that's the better... We're gonna remain calm. Sharon was the first to make a noise between us. She was only out for 3 hours last time, right? She said, tapping my arm.
They ask
It'll
you
be
how you're doing,
back.
you just have to say that you're fine when you're not
Said
really
you're
fine,
fine.
but you just
Not
can't get
fine.
into it because they would never understand.
You understand? Every day. I didn't answer her. I looked down at my flashlight, grateful that I had it with me. Sharon was less optimistic. If that's all we've got, then we aren't going to last long. Not without batteries. I have spares in my bag. I just need something to cut them open. She snorted and passed me an army knife from her pocket. I raised an eyebrow at her. My daddy didn't raise a fool. Teacher, by her logic, she is assuming you are a fool. That seems unkind to me. Perhaps she is angry at you? No, she's just simply explaining, Moti. You'll be fine. I looked up again at the dense blackness. We have to get topside to see what's going on, I said, talking more to myself than to Moti or Sharon. Sharon weighed in with her opinion anyway. What do you think has happened? She said in a manner that suggested it was rhetorical. The same as last time? No sun? No light? No heat? I waved an arm at her, picking up another sound while she was ranting. Footsteps. Suddenly two robed figures emerged from the darkness, one woman and one man. They were lit with a lantern with eyes adjusted to the dark. I could see them clearly. They both had golden eyes. The woman hesitated when she saw us, tilting her head to the side, as if surprised that we were there. Her male companion was less hesitant. He lifted a gun in his hand and pointed it towards us. Bang. The head of the stone figure next to us exploded into pieces, showering Shanna and me in dust. I grabbed her arm and made a leap for the escape path, ducking into the short tunnel. We hustled as quickly as we could into the cramped space, Sharon behind me. Much quicker than it had taken us to get down into the bowels of the temple, we busted through a hidden door into a different cellar. Head up the stairs, use the cellar doors. Now, the cellar doors I feel like can be locked, but then we don't. If this is a different cellar, how do we know what's upstairs? Where do we know we're going to lead out? I feel like upstairs would have a better option. Right? Use the cellar doors. Because it said a different cellar, didn't it? Action! That's what I'm waiting for. I feel like if the first cellar doors to the outside were padlocked, would the next cellar also be padlocked? And then we're screwed and we have to go upstairs anyway. Cellar. Laura's saying cellar. More bodies. Alright, cellar it is. Not slowing down, I charged towards the cellar doors and busted them open. A chain, rusted and old, fell off the side, and the cellar one swung open. Okay, so they weren't padlocked. Sharon pushed ahead of me into the dark. I have to go and find Chrissy. She muttered, taking her phone from the pocket. She's afraid of the dark, poor possum. With no source of light and nothing but her wit, she took off into the streets, quickly being swallowed by darkness. Looking around, I realised I had no idea where I was. Nothing around looked familiar, and there were no lights in the distance to guide me. Are we lost, teacher? I laughed, the question suddenly seeming funny to me. It's only the sun, Moti. Sailors used to navigate by the stars, you know. My father taught me. I trailed off as I looked up, unable to recognise any of the constellations my father had taught me as I studied the dark sky. It had been a long time. Where do you wish to go, teacher? Take me back to the temple. I want to join up with the festival. I feel like the festival would be going absolutely ballistic if the sun went out. So would it be wise to join them to see what everyone else is doing? Because that way we'd find more people and would be in a crowd, would be safer. Because I feel like going back to the temple right now would uncover the two that shot at us. Sure, join. Okay, taking Laura's advice. Yes, teacher. I did click the right one, didn't I? No, I didn't. Yes. Sighing, I started walking, hoping against hope that by the time I got to the vessel, the sun would have relit. It didn't take long before people were back in my view. Lots of people. All headed in one direction. Wait, what? What did you say? I think my A button double-clicked, you know. Because that definitely did something that it wasn't supposed to do. You're a pro controller, work. Fused into the crowd, casting an eye around me, everyone was panicked, some crying, Peruvians and tourists together, all going in the same direction. Where are they heading? The road takes them to the temple, teacher. Going there anyway then. Hey! Ahead, a golden-eyed man pointed a finger at me, enraged, and made his way in my direction. The crowd stumbled into him, making it difficult. But with the boulder-like muscles, he waded through. I looked around. With the direction of the crowd, maybe I could outrun him. Maybe. He was large. I knew I couldn't beat him in a fight, but maybe I could use the crowd against him. When he says use the crowd, is it like to hide? Because I don't think you're going to be able to run for it if there's a crowd in the way. If you're going in the even if you're going in the same direction, unless you can get past the crowd, it's not going to do much. Crowd, run. Use the crowd. Run for it. It's the beeping outside for me. Would you like to make a decision for me? You good? Having a good time? Stupid. I'm gonna use the crowd. I want to see what happens. He's got a gun, I screamed. Oh, he's smart, and I flailed my arms at the charging man. The crowd screamed louder than I did, some attacking the man, the others running away. In the bedlam, I managed to get some distance from the man. Careful not to head in the direction of any more yellow figures. Run, you chicken. Too late. I'm sorry, it's a bit late. I'm getting all your answers a bit late. I tried to wait. The temple came into the view over the heads of the Peruvian crowd. It was a testament to the Incan and Spanish architecture, one rising from the other out of the ruins and beautiful in its own right. It was also full. People were crowded around the doorways, attempting to get inside. It was the end of days, and they were trying to make good what they got. Around the side, the historian I met yesterday was battling through people with a key raised above his head. Stopping in my tracks, I was jostled by the crowd, causing me to stumble. When I looked up, I could no longer see the historian. He had disappeared in the temple's cellar. An impervious wall of people was in front of me. The likelihood of being crushed by a human stampede was a little higher than I liked. Chase ahead. Take a moment. I feel like if we take a moment, I think I'm delayed as well. Well, it will be, how do I think, with consoles, until I can afford a new capture card. With consoles, there is a delay, so I have to delay my webcam and my mic. So for me, when I ask something, by the time you guys have watched it, and I get in and get an answer, it can be a pain. I try to see it as often as I can. I think charge ahead to find him. But then I feel like the smart option would be to take a moment to figure out a plan to get around. Charge. Ooh, Libby says charge. I think that's the better option for me. Charge ahead, find the historian, get in. Though I could be stampeded. Could die. Why do you taste rank now? There's not much left. I think I'm gonna go Do you know what? We'll go with Libby. We'll go with the charge ahead and just see if we die. I ran straight ahead and was immediately shoved back. Alright then. They aren't your gods, he screamed at me. You don't deserve them. I tried again, slipping past the man, only to be beaten back by another. Okay, it was useless. Libby sucked. Took a deep breath and reminded myself that this was not the first rodeo. I was a professional, I could handle it. Attempting a more objective eye, I looked over the crowd again. My vantage point on the small incline gave me a good view of the area. What was the pattern in the way the crowd moved I could exploit? Was there an object that could help me get to my goal? There was something, I just had to find it. Perhaps this isn't the best time to pray. There are many people here. I do not understand what has brought them here. Fear is a strong motivator. A chill ran through me as I shivered. The temperature was dropping quickly without the light from the sun. I checked the time on my phone, finding that I had limited service. Last time the sun was out for 3 hours. I wondered how long it would hold this time. Abandoning the temple, I cast a regretful eye across the landscape. Perhaps being around the temple right now wasn't a good idea. In any case, I turned around and started fighting against the crowd, attempting to leave. Moti, did you link Sharon's phone to mine? Yes, teacher. At least that was something. Find her. We'll join her and figure this mess out. I cannot do that right now. Why? I currently require an update. While undergoing, I cannot access my location services, so it will only take a moment. What is the purpose of this update? Bug fixes. Figures. Okay, update right away. He'll let you know when the update is complete. But that's going to get to the wireless. As Moti was updating, I continued to push my way through the crowd. Considering everyone was heading towards the temple, it was more difficult than I liked. At one point, I nearly ran into a yellow-robed figure, but thankfully I managed to evade them. My software update is complete. The computer is going to kill you. I trust this computer with my life. I'm ready to direct you to Miss Sharon now, teacher. I would not suggest trying to call her, as her battery is nearly dead. I frowned, unimpressed, and checked the details of Sharon's location. It seemed like she wasn't too far. Half an hour walk closer with a vehicle. There was a little Vespa scooter nearby, presumably left lying on its side by a panicked Peruvian. I'm going to steal it. I walked over and picked up a scooter. It left the owner in such a hurry that the keys were still in the ignition. Sat upright, swung over. Is this stealing, teacher? Yes, of course it is. I sighed. Trust the nativity. Naivety. Words. Moti, I switched on the headlights, adding the light to the darkness. Yes, Moti, but this is important. I see. I cannot find a motorcycle license in your records either, teacher. Shut up, mate. After about 10 minutes... 3 more questions from Moti and a small accident when no one was hurt apart from the side mirror, we arrived in the little neighbourhood aside the house. Sharon's phone was in. Smaller than Sharon's. Quaint, but with all the lights off, an ominous feeling grew in my belly. We have arrived at our destination. I am concerned. All the other occupied houses have the lights turned on. I felt the same. Her battery was going to die. He said not to call her. But heading into the dark house, alone, also doesn't seem like a good idea. But if her phone dies because we call her, we'll have no location. The letterbox just went. I ain't answering the door at this time. I value life. Are you trying to tell me that I need to go? Am I going? It's 10 o'clock at night. Hopefully they'll leave. Well, what is it? Did someone order something? As far as I know, we're not waiting on any parcels. So I didn't hear it the first time, I only heard it the second time when I took the headphone off. Who would be knocking? Unless it's an emergency, but even then I feel like it would be constant banging to wake someone up. I'll say they wouldn't be able to see if my lights are really on because I've only got the one on and my door's blocked. Seems to have stopped. So it must have either been a parcel for someone else and it's not in, or someone just randomly knocking at the door. Let's head inside the dark house now that we think we're going to get mugged. Yeah, I wouldn't have heard that if he didn't say anything. Until probably the second one, maybe. I yanked the front door open, no longer caring about being quiet, and stepped inside, searching my surroundings with a light on my phone. Everything was in shambles. Chairs knocked over, dishes shattered and broken on the floor. Horror film 2021, literally. Mines aren't really on just for small light. That's what I mean, like, it's weird for this, you know, time of night. Chairs knocked over, dishes shattered and broken on the floor. The stuffing pulled out of the couch and smashed glass from a photo of Sharon and her daughter Chrissy. I spotted a hunched form on the kitchen floor and slowly approached it. I checked, teacher. This is the resident. This is Chrissy's house. It does not look good. Is anyone waiting on any parcels? Oh, smart move. No, it did not. I knelt next to Sharon and laid a hand on her. Only EMP, or would they come at 10 o'clock at night? I knelt next to Sharon and laid a hand on her shaking arm. Is everything alright? She reared up and slapped me hard, pushing me back onto my rump. I looked at her in surprise. I left Australia so this wouldn't happen. She screamed, standing above me, tears on her face. Because if you are, refuse to answer the door at 10 PM. I was being good. I wasn't taking any risks. And then you. She pointed down at me, shaking with rage. You come along and give me a taste of what I've been missing. Miss Sharon is upset. I know, Moti. I held up my hands, prepared to fend off another hit from Sharon. Abruptly she deflated, falling to her knees again. They've taken my daughter because I was helping you. Who? She pointed and I turned my flashlight in that direction. Sitting on the countertop next to the sink was a yellow robe. We'll get her back, I told her urgently, but we have to go. There could be more of them coming back. No sooner were the words out of my mouth, I felt a thud in the back of my neck. I blinked. Unbelieving, I raised my hand to pluck up the dart that had lodged there. Sharon hadn't noticed. My vision was already starting to darken and dizziness took over. I only had seconds before I was unconscious. Warn Sharon. Fucking get out of here, Sharon. I reached out and grabbed Sharon's arm as I fell. Sharon, run. I gasped, passing out in the next moment. Waking was strange. There was an annoying ticking in my head, so I raised my hand to brush it away. Looks like someone is awake. The low drawl of a man reached me, and my eyes snapped open. Sharon was lying beside me, unconscious. There was a dark bruise across her jaw. Standing above me was the man who shot me, shrugging on a yellow robe. He gave me a slow looking over. So you're the one who's been causing all this trouble for my children on the 100th day. Who are you people? Honestly, I am not a villain in a badly written movie, he mocked me, straightening his sleeves. There will be no reveal of a plot while I assure you you are helpless. I am no fool. Another robed and hooded man walked up to him, presenting a gun. The fake king took it. I will, however, tell you my name so you can spread it to all those whom I ask. Sire, the other man interjected, are we not to kill the non-believers? No, we are not, the fake king replied sharply, a small amount of panic in his voice. They will be useful to us still. The other man nodded, bowing slightly, and left the room. Beside me, Sharon started to stir. Excellent, she's awake too. In any case, my name is Jonathan, and I lead the 100th day. Sharon opened her eyes and stared up at the gun pointed down at her. She quaked, pursing her lips to remain silent. Harm her and I'll kill you, or where is the daughter? Safe and on her way home. That's all I'll say on the matter. It might have been a trick of the light, which only came from the fire in the barrels around the room. But I thought I noticed him pale at the mention of Chrissy. He quickly changed the subject, turning away from me. You need to stop being where my operatives are. Now, stay here and think about what you've done. He stormed out of the room quickly, not looking back. As I wasn't bound nor hindered in any way, I quickly jumped to my feet and started looking around the room. Think about what we've done, Sharon asked after Jonathan and rubbing her neck. Who does he think he is? Who does he think we are? School children. The walls were made of stone and the door was metallic. The door was also the only way out of the room. My mind raced, trying to come up with another option. Moti, where are we? Hello, teacher. Seems we are under the place in many of tunnels that are not known publicly. And the sun? Still a English teacher. This drew my gaze to the clock on the wall. It was the source of the ticking I had heard when I woke. I'd been unconscious for some time. The sun had died over 15 hours ago. Fake an illness. Demand to use the toilet. I think they're gonna know. I'm gonna try banging on the door. Fuck it, let's... Oh god, it's 10:30, Jesus Christ. I slammed my fist against the door, calling for their attention. I heard footsteps coming my way. Stop the noise. I need the bathroom. Adding a desperate tinge to my voice. The voice on the other side, does this look like a hotel? No bathrooms here, princess, pee on the floor. That stumped me. I looked over at Sharon and she came forward, leaning against the door like me. Well, I've got my period, so you better get me a bucket or things are gonna get messy. She's a queen. She's an icon. Yes, Sharon. With a curse, he opened the door. A second later, he was down on the ground, knocked with a thud. I looked at Sharon, shaking her fist from the punch she just dealt. No time to explain. Wincing as she stretched out her hand. Let's go. She ducked to the door, leaving me to follow. Piss on the floor. Piss on the floor. The flickering of the burning barrels made the stone tunnels feel unearthly. I was surprised to find that I was still freezing cold despite the barrels. It would only get worse if the sun didn't return. Seeing no one was around, I let myself breathe, but only for a moment. Which way? Sharon asked, looking left and right. Teacher, I suggest going to your left. If geography hints, it is more likely to lead to the surface. Go left, but be careful. We began to run. There were no footsteps following us. When we slowed down, I urged her on, knowing that the sound would travel in these tunnels. It is important to create some distance. After 30 minutes of running, Sharon came to a stop. I need a second. I'm not what I used to be, she said, laying her hands on her knees and breathing deep. I'm sorry about your daughter. Don't be sorry. Be angry and help me get her back. Nice. We continued on at a slower pace, giving me time to look around the underbelly of the temple. Eventually we walked into a wider room and I stopped in shock. Cogs made out of gold lined the walls, interconnected and stunning. Some were painted with motifs. They didn't quite fit together in the right way for me to make out an image. Sharon reached out and turned the cog closest to us effortlessly, like they'd just been oiled. The central wooden clog was unlike the rest, so I walked over to it. Cautiously I turned it. As it turned, so did the wall, aligning the paintings to create a scene. Well, bugger me dead. Well, bugger me dead. The first scene was of the universe. Two universes, actually. They were connected by the central cog. The Earth was on one side with the sun and the stars, and the other was devoid of a world or sun. Its shooting stars were hypnotic. Turn it again. It did, creating another scene. This one showed an angry world, hunger and pain in all the faces of the painted people. Turning the wheel again made the picture of a man, a cog tied around his neck, kneeling before a priest who was blessing him, a knife in hand. The next scene was the death of the kneeling man sacrificed at the altar. I swallowed palm sweat. I turned the cog for the final time to show the final depiction. It was the two universes again, only this time the cog had sunk into the wall, connecting the universes seamlessly and showing the sacrificed man crossing the border from one to the other. What does it mean? Sharon asked, eyes wide. I don't fucking know, I'm not gonna lie. I pointed my watch at the depictions and snapped some photos for later. We were both stunned, but the danger was not far behind us, so we quickly made our escape. The stone tunnels ended at the outcropping in an abandoned quarry. I frowned, wondering who in Cusco was hiding all of this from the public eye. We climbed over the gates and made our exit. It had to be someone truly high on the food chain. Moti lit our way as we continued walking, the sun still absent from the sky. Sharon didn't pause to wonder. I'm calling the police to tell them about Chrissy and see what they can do to help. If you don't want them near you, I suggest you stay at a hotel tonight. I understand, I told her. I looked down at my watch. Find us a hotel booking, Moti. Yes, teacher. I'll do that now. I thought they were all booked. Oh, who am I kidding? We've got a broken son and a cult extremist in the city. My missing girl wasn't going to cause them any panic. Remorse filled me. Come with me. We might as well do this together. She smiled at me and I noticed for the first time the lines around her eyes. Life had not been easy on her. I'll think about it. Thank you. I made 3 bookings at 3 different places. I also used several of your aliases in case someone were to look for you. I advised being cautious. I relayed the information to Sharon, and she snorted without a grace. Tell him to cancel it. You can stay with me. Maybe you'll be useful. I smiled at my new friend, glad that she was still with me. By the time we made it back to Sharon's, it was nearly dawn, and the sun hadn't made a mere appearance. She set about bringing out a heater and lighting a fire in the stove while I inspected the photos I'd taken. I couldn't afford to miss anything, not with the current circumstance. A knock at the door startled us both. Just want to remind you, teacher. Caution. Sharon and I looked at each other again, bewildered. They knocked again. Sharon gets it and she gets hurt, but then Moti said to do caution. But they're coming after me. I feel like I wouldn't want to put Sharon in that place. Fucking hell, it's blurry. I feel like I should be the one to answer, and then if I get shot, it's a bit nicer on me, on her. I'm going to answer it. Oh, I'm all sweaty. I'm going to answer it with caution. I walk to the door. Advice. I don't think Nightbot's going to help it. You can fail at what you don't want, so you might as well take a chance of doing what you love. I'm going to open a door. No one was there. Carefully inching the door open confirmed it, and I said stupidly into darkness before anything else. When I finally glanced downwards, I noticed an A4 envelope on the doormat. Picking it up, I shut the door and returned it to the kitchen where Sharon was. She looked as confused as I felt. Something about the colour and the texture of this envelope seemed familiar. Turning it over, I found a note. Your next appointment. Dolores. I ripped open the top and pulled out a mass of papers, including a plane ticket, passport, and other essentials. Itinerary scanned, destination Flying Falls, Canada. The one time wasn't alive. Teacher, the flight is for tomorrow. I looked up at Sharon, holding up the papers. Looks like I'm going to Flying Falls. The next clue is there. Her face struck with sadness. Looks like you are. Teacher, the cult calling themselves the 100th Day has been spotted in the city. Perhaps this is why we are going. I'm very glad that Dolores is alright. As was I, but where had Dolores been and why hadn't she contacted me? Brushing my questions aside, I turned to Sharon. It's not a lead on Chrissy, but it's the next best thing. She shook her head firmly. I need to find Chrissy in my own way. I can't blame you until the cows come home, but at the end of the day, it was my nature that led her to being taken. This wasn't your fault. I reminded her, putting down the papers and joining her by the window. I know, but I still have that good old guilt, she said, a crooked smile on her face. Beside that crackpot said she was on her way home, and if that doesn't mean her house... Australia, I asked. Australia. Looks like I'm getting on the next plane too, just not the same one as you. Would planes still fly? I know they fly at night, but if everything's getting shut down and it's starting to freeze and the atmosphere's fucking, would they still fly? Sunlight caused me to shield my eyes, and I stepped back from the window. Sharon did the same before lifting her head, wide crazy smile stretching across the face. My, just in time for dawn. Through the window the sun shone brightly, warming my face. Rising into the sky. Arc 3 complete. You and 31% of players are going to fly force. I'm in these 30s. All of my percentages are fucking 30s at this point. All of them. Every one I've done has been in the 30s. But I'm pretty sure 77 choices made. Just to check. Yeah. Okay, that's fine. Jeez. Shut that up for a bit. I just quit. Quit. Main menu. No, wait. Do I just quit? Can I just... Oh god. Just gonna quit and see what happens. We are the minority. Honestly. I'm just gonna check it did actually save before I do anything reckless. Oh, it takes me back to the last point. Yeah, that's fine. It does take me back to the last point that I was at. Give or take a few seconds. Like, it does the bit where she starts talking about Chrissy and how she needs to find her and all that shit. So I will finish that game. Now that I know it's decent, yep, I will... God, these hurt like a bitch. Yeah, I will finish that game possibly next week before I fuck off home. I'm gonna be honest, I'm gonna try and fit in as many streams as I can next week because I won't be streaming for 2 weeks after that. But it is a good, it's a very chill game in the sense of I don't have to do much, I just have to pick. And I do like the stories. The fucking story goes up, down, left, right, over there, to the bit. We've had someone knocking at the door, everything's kind of shit. But yeah, I've got 2 other games like that I will maybe play in the future, or I might play myself, depends. But I did like it. And I do want to finish it. So we would definitely maybe try and do that next week. Or maybe this week, depending on how everything goes. I do like the setup. The setup is definitely better for me. She lasted. The flag lasted. Wait. That's a better look. She lives. So she can stay up and down for the next few streams. Tomorrow, hopefully, praying that internet lives, is VR chat. Thursday is Cars. It's just for those that didn't see Discord. Saturday, this is where Kit's going to find out for the first time, might be Sea of Thieves. If Richard, depending on if Richard can make it or not, we will. If Richard can make it, we will continue with Pirate's Life. If he can't make it, we might still do Sea of Thieves, but it would just be everything else. You know, the finding your own quests, getting killed by people, or it might be a whole nother game, just depending. Probably let John know. Richard's gonna let us know hopefully tomorrow, or as soon as he knows. He's already done so, but well, you guys were talking about other stuff. And then Sunday, depending on how my vaccine goes on Saturday, that I keep forgetting about, if I'm still alive on Sunday, Stardew, because Stardew is fucking chill as shit. I can't physically die too much. Well, I mean, I can, but it won't hurt as much if I'm like, oh no, my arms, because I can just... It's mouse arm. No, it's keyboard arm, so I won't be doing much. But yeah, I think this has worked out pretty well. I've fixed a couple of camera settings, not fucking much, because Windows 10 sucks dick. But yeah, the next week I'm going to try and fit in as much as I can before I go home. God, my hair, like, if I keep straight, it just looks hella short, because you can't see the ponytail. This is what I'd look like if I was my father. Maybe I should start wearing the wigs. God, I can't wait to get my hair cut. Anyway. Jeez. It's been a long one. Anyway, So thank you for watching. Thank you for being here and all that shit. And until tomorrow, when hopefully everything goes right with Matt, I will keep everyone up on Discord. Bye-bye.